one of the most difficult questions that we ask ourselves as conscious beings, as we become more and more conscious, what is the point? Like, this question is important. What is really the point? Like, humans don't want to do things for the sake of doing these things, right? Like, you don't want to exist for the sake of existing. Like, I just exist, you know, just wake up, eat, shit, work, deal with life's problems. Like, what is really the point? I think each and every person who's intelligent have asked themselves this question before, because you don't just want to exist. There has to be like a reason for your existence, because life is difficult. This is not easy. Like, people don't want to admit publicly that life is not easy, but it is not. It is very, very difficult. We go through a lot. All right. There's a reason why some people are exiting on their own. Now, there's a celebrity who was a poet, a very famous poet where I live. He exited, and people are surprised, like, oh, how? Mental health, this and that. Like, life is difficult, and I think we don't talk about this enough. Life is difficult. Being conscious in a world that you don't understand, in a world where you weren't even given instructions, you just conscious, it feels like a burden, it feels like a burden because you're conscious. You can experience pain, you can have problems. Like, life is your responsibility, and you don't even know why you're alive. You don't know why this is happening, but it is happening. You are conscious, you are having an experience. That's what's making life really difficult. We have no idea what is actually going on, and we are supposed to write it out, right? Like, there isn't a button that you can press and just pause everything, or a button that you can press and everything just stops. Like, you're supposed to write it out. Like, you were born in a society that believes that. So let's not pretend as if this is not difficult, because it is really, really difficult. And the older people get, the more horrible they become. Like, when you're still naive, right? You're still naive. You are in this world. Um, you don't know how bad things can get. You still trust people. You meet people and you trust them. You treat them well because you're naive. But as you get older, you realize that the more I treat people well, the more I get screwed over. The more I lose the things that I have, the more I lose my money, mental health. The more I treat people well, the more things seem to go wrong. But the more I treat, the more I treat people right, the more things seem to go wrong. But the more I treat people wrong, it seems like things go right. You know, it seems like we are here to learn to be horrible. There are a lot of people who used to be kind, who used to care about other people when they were young. And yeah, we used to help other people. But now, because of what they had to endure, they're no longer good. Like, they no longer trust people. No, there are people who just want to be by themselves all the time. And I think that tells us that this is not working, even though we're pretending as if it's working, because what can we do? We're supposed to pretend as if it's working, even if it's not working, right? If relationships are not working, it means that life is not working. And relationships are not working. But yeah, we are becoming more and more horrible because being good doesn't work. People are slowly realizing that being good does not work. We were good, but we realize that that's when we get hurt. Like when we are good, that's when we get hurt. That's when people take us for granted. That's when people look at us and be like, I can get away with anything. I can treat this person badly and get away with it. Uh, I can borrow money from them and not pay them back and get away with it. I can steal from this person and get away. You know what I mean? But what are you learning as a person who's good? What are you actually learning? Are you learning to be more kind? You're like, yeah, yeah. People can borrow money from me and not, you know, pay me back. That's okay. I'm gonna be more kind. Like, what are you really learning? You are learning that your kindness is being taken for weakness. So what happens? You, you know, you start to be unkind, right? You start to be horrible because that's how people play this game of life. It's not like they're really kind, they're helping one another like that. There's a part of me that feels like this world is for cycles. Like you gotta be some kind of a cycle. Like if you're really, really gonna be a good person, your life is really, really gonna suck. Like the universe is gonna punish you for being good. Like the universe doesn't want you to be good. You know, you're brought into this brutal world, into this like war zone, and you are out here trying to be like this kind person. You want to care about other people. You want to put other people first, but that's not how the universe intended things to be. It's like you're not supposed to be good at all. That's what actually sucks. That's why, and everyone knows this. Even if they lie to themselves, they know that the bad guys are the ones who win in this realm. Like if you're really really gonna be like a good person, like a really like be genuinely good, there's no winning for you. People can talk about you and say, yeah, that's a good person. That's the kindest person I've ever met. This person cares about people, but you're not winning. Like, what are you benefiting? So as you get older, you realize that being a very good person makes other people like look at me as if I'm weak, right? They don't really take me that seriously. That is why people are becoming more and more horrible. It's not like everyone who's born into this world was horrible. There are some people who are actually kind, but they've suffered a lot for being kind. You understand how hard it is to suffer for being kind, to suffer for being nice, to suffer for treating people right. Like the pain, there's this pain that you feel is different. Like if you really, really going to be kind to someone and you get screwed, like and they take you for granted, you lose your shit because you were kind to a person, like it does something to you. Like it changes you. When you go online, you see that people have been through a lot, bro. Like when I read the Facebook post, it's like I can see where a person is coming from just reading the post. Like, dang, this person really have been through hell. On TikTok, people talking about how they feel. Even if they don't even talk about how they feel, but they talk about how they feel about relationships, for example. Like not necessarily how they feel about themselves or about their experiences, but about relationships. If a person maybe makes a video talking about, yeah, women they don't like good guys. They like, you can see that that's coming from pain. Like this person has suffered so much that they're like, women can make videos talking about, hey, guys don't want good women anymore, guys this and that. Like we've been through a lot as a collective that no one um feels safe when they are good, right? Like when they're a decent human being, like people don't feel safe anymore being good. That is why you are being given this toxic, like toxic advice online, about relationships, about friendship, about you know family. Like you're being given toxic advice because this is not working. Like the best advice that you can be given about relationship online is actually a toxic advice. You're not really being given an advice that you should be given in a world that is actually good, in a world where things are actually working. The advice that you'll be given, and it will seem like a valid advice because you are really in a messed up world. So yeah, it actually an advice that will actually work for you. But that also shows you that this is not working. So pretending as if this is not difficult, pretending as if this is making sense, pretending as if we understand what is actually going on, pretending as if we're learning to be to be better, as if we're evolving, that's actually making things worse. Like us pretending as a collective. One of the most important uh, things about this channel is that there is so much honesty, right? I do not uh, like when I make a video, I don't tell myself that I want to be negative or anything like whenever I want to, I decide that I'm going to record a video. I want to be as honest as possible. Like that's the desire, right? Like before I record a video, I'm like, how can I be as honest as possible about this topic? I don't think, hey, let me be negative, because some people be like, no, your message is negative. Like, it's not. It's just truth. It's truth. The problem is that things are so messed up that the truth sounds negative, right? If things were good in this world, then truth will sound positive. People being honest and like, hey, this is what's going on. Like that will sound positive. So the reason why some people think that my message is negative is because what's really going on in the world is really messed up. So of course, speaking the truth is gonna make people feel uncomfortable. That's the thing. What really matters to me is the truth. And I don't think there are many people that can actually disagree with the things that I say on my channel. I think it's just truth, you know. So now I'm 31. I can tell you without a doubt in my mind that there are a lot of people who were taken for granted because they were good. There are a lot of people who have lost things that they value, things that they love because they were good. There are a lot of people who didn't get what they deserved because they were good, right? There are a lot of people who are struggling right now because they were good. I'm not saying be a bad person, but I want to be honest about um, what we are becoming because of our experiences, right? People don't trust each other anymore. I talk to a person about trust. They don't want to hear anything about trust. They don't want to trust anyone because of their past experiences. So we cannot pretend as if life is not difficult. Life is really difficult. And it's not difficult, because of the things that we normally talk about that we're saying what's difficult about life. Death isn't what's difficult about life. Some people like look at it that way, like death is what's difficult about life. The fear of death. And what's difficult about life is just being in it and actually dealing with life's problems. Like you waking up and actually dealing with the problems that you deal with, even if these problems seem minor. These problems actually, if you're dealing with them every day, they can break you. Is waking up, going to work, you have you and your coworkers are not getting along, gossiping, all that. Like you're not, like where you work, that's not a fun place for you. You constantly feeling, you're constantly feeling like isolated, because you can't really connect with your coworkers. Like that sucks. Like to have to wake up in the morning and go to a place where you're not like you don't connect with the people that you're going to be interacting with. Like that's not good for your mental health. We're not even designed to tolerate some people. And when when decide to tolerate some people, is that because we live, in the matrix, we are all forced to do things in one place. So you gotta do things with people who don't that you don't get along with, and you suffer because of that. It's small things like that that are making this experience horrible, because you don't want to be surrounded by people that you don't get along with, people who don't like you, people who you don't like. You don't want to be surrounded by those people. It does mess with your mental health. And we wonder why some people are exiting, because they're going through a lot. You want to connect with the people that you interact with. You don't want to be reminded that you're not good enough when you're interacting with people. You don't want to be reminded of how horrible the world is when you're interacting with people. You don't want to be reminded of how disconnected everyone is when you're interacting with people. you know you want to feel connected. So imagine the only place where you feel you can make money, that's where you actually feel like isolated, and you have to be in that place because you gotta make a living. It does mess with the mental health. And because we are programmed to want to connect, right? We're programmed to want to seek validation. We're programmed to want good stories. We don't want, like, we don't want to feel alone. Like, that's not a good story. You want a story where you're interacting with people who care about you. When you have a problem, these people are there for you, they help you. When they have a problem, you're there for, like, you want to create this kind of stories. You don't want to create stories that make you feel like you're truly in a place where you don't belong. So life is difficult because of the small things that we don't talk about, but that we go through every day. you know the small things that we do not talk about, but that we go through every day. These are the things that actually make us question our own existence. These are the things that actually make us question our place in the world. These are the things that make people not want to be part of this. Let me tell you this: if you hear that someone left this place on their own, they didn't leave this place on their own because of the the, the big problems that everyone talks about. Like, oh, there's war, um there's war in this country and this and that. Oh, like death itself, or even poverty, like this racism, stuff like that. Like, when people exit this world, it's actually due to the smallest things that I'm talking about. They cannot connect with the people that they work with, or they don't have the people in their lives that actually love them. There are people who don't have that at all. You find that you don't know who to talk to for real. Like, when you're going through something, you do not know who to talk to. You're dealing with everything on your own, and you've always had to deal with everything on your own. Like, since you were young, you were dealing with everything on your own. Like, that never changed. Can you imagine how it must feel like to really to be in a world full of people, but really, really feeling alone, because you are actually alone, right? Because people are mean. It's not like we are designed to want to actually help one another like that. And even the ones who were designed like that, because of how the world is to kind people, they are changing. They're becoming more and more horrible. They're becoming more and more narcissistic, right? So now everyone is uh, everyone is now kind, right? So if you grew up not having people in your life who actually help you, because maybe you don't have much to offer, maybe because they don't understand you, imagine how that feels like to be in that place, like, for a very long time. Like, that doesn't feel right. That's what's making people exit. It's not poverty, it's not racism, it's not the wars, uh, like all these big things that we normally want to talk about, you know when we talk about, like, this world being bad. No, it's the smallest things. uh, so people are becoming more and more isolated because of these small things. People are becoming more and more horrible because of these small things. We are unlearning to trust one another because of these things. And that's what we're learning, actually, to not trust one another. Now, if I ask you, what have you learned? What will you tell me? Like, what have you actually learned in this work? People will tell me that, yeah, I've learned that you shouldn't give the person like a person that you're in a relationship with your whole heart. That's what people have learned. These are like, if you ask people what they've learned, these are the kind of things that they will tell you. That I've learned not to love wholeheartedly. I've learned not to be kind. I've learned not to be a good person. I've learned, that I shouldn't borrow my friends' money. I've learned that I shouldn't trust strangers. Like, that's what people have learned. Like, they don't tell you that they've learned positive things. So you can see that we're not really learning things that are making us evolve or that are making us better. We're learning things that are actually making us horrible. We're learning things that are actually making us want to be alone. Things that are making us go like, nah, you know, being in a relationship now, that's a liability. That's what people are learning. Kind of learning that how to connect with one another, how to build real relationships with one another. They're not learning that. They're not learning how to understand one another. Now, it's funny that we pretend as if we understand one another as humans, but we don't. It's like everyone is living in their own heads. We don't. Like, we don't understand one another, but we pretend as if we do, giving labels to everything. And we understand, you know. Usually, people who are privileged enough to give labels to things, these are the people who pretend as if they understand other humans. Like, you understand a human. But can you really understand another person if you've never experienced life from that perspective? If you don't know how they view the world, you don't know how they feel, make people feel wrong for being how they are because we want to control them. Like, I know what is right. You're wrong. I know what is right. We're becoming more and more disconnected because we don't even understand one another and we are not attempting to, understand one another. Everyone is trying to figure out how they can get the most out of other people, not how they can understand other people so that they can have like high quality relationships. No, the relationships that people are having now, low quality relationships, not something worth coming to earth for, to be honest with you. Like, the relationships that people are having, they are not worth it. Like, we are having low quality relationships. It's not even relationships. I don't even know what to call it. It's like, it's just not working. Friends be gossiping about one another. You'll be surprised. Like, what the heck is going on, man? Like, what the heck is going on? And these people don't love each other. Relationships are not working. You date someone for 2 months and that's it. There's no real connection anymore. So people are becoming more and more horrible because of that. Like, they are going through a lot that it's hard to be good. Like, it's actually hard to be a good person. It's actually hard to do the right thing now. The Matrix wants us to all be narcissists. Like, we've built a world where being a good person is not being rewarded, right? Like, you don't get anything for being good. So people choose to be bad, and being bad is now good. It's like no one is like surprised when people are being bad, when people are being selfish. It's like, yeah, that's what works. Being a good person is like you are naive, right? Like if you're gonna be a good person. So what are we actually learning in this world? What are we actually here for? Are we able to truly expand our awareness? Are we able to create a better world? Are we evolving? Are things becoming better? Us having more resources, things seeming to be much easier now. Like, for example, traveling is easy, communicating with people who are uh, far away from you is easy. Does that mean that we are becoming more conscious? I mean, we have technology, right? We have AI, the technology that we have is supposed to be impossible. But are we really learning something? Are we becoming more and more conscious? Are we learning to connect with one another more? Are we learning to understand one another more? Are we learning to love one another more? Because that's important. Without love, the experience is going to be horrible. There's no other way, right? If we don't love each other, of course we're going to have a horrible, like a very, very horrible experience. Is that what seems to be happening, or the opposite is what's happening? Like people are starting to want to be alone. Like now, it's really justified to be alone. If I make a video talking about why being alone is good, if you read the comments, you realize that people are now deciding to be alone. Because relationships are not working. They've been through a lot, that they actually feel like they betray themselves when they entered relationships. But if relationships are not working, because life itself is relationships, what are we here for? What are we actually doing as a species? If you ask people if they would want to come back here, like if you did an experiment, ask people if they would want to come back here. Look, if you ask, like, let's say you ask people in 2010 if they wanted to come back here, I think a high percentage of people would say yes. But if you ask people now in 2024 if they wanted to come back here, a very high percentage of people would say no. Why? It's because things are becoming worse. We are becoming more and more horrible, becoming more and more disconnected. Like we are seeing the opposite of what we expected. Right? When you were growing up, you were very optimistic and you thought, um, things will be wonderful. You know, you used to think, hey, I'm gonna get married and yeah, I'm gonna find my soulmate, I'm gonna get married and yeah, things will be beautiful. When you're talking to your friends, you're like, hey, yeah, we're gonna buy cars and buy houses and we're gonna go on holiday and all that. But you got older and maybe you lost some of your friends, or some of your friends are still there in your life, but you do realize that maybe they're not really your friends, right? Like there's no real connection anymore. Maybe they don't really care about you like you thought they did. Maybe some of them are betraying you. Maybe some of them are doing something behind your back. Like it's a low quality experience that we're having. This isn't something that I believe that a soul would choose to experience. Like if you're shown everything that's going on, like yeah, you want to go into that realm and experience. Like I think every soul will be like, no fucking. Like if you've watched the movie called Soul, there was this soul called Soul 21. didn't want to go to Earth at all. Like whenever they told, they spoke about Earth, like they would not even want to hear anything about Earth. So I think if we knew what goes on here, no one would want to come here. Like no one would willingly choose to come and participate in this game, because it really sucks, especially when you are truly intelligent, like when you are truly conscious. That's why I was saying to you that it seems like this is a place for cycles. If you're a cycle, yeah, you'll be fine, because there's a place for everyone, right? So if you're like a cycle, then yeah. But if you are a decent human being who want things to work out, who want higher quality relationships, who want to have like a good job, not work shitty jobs, who don't want to compete for resources, who want a meaningful experience, like this place is gonna suck for these kind of people. Like this place actually sucks for people who are good. And because people are trying to survive, they are evolving into what the world uh, wants them to be to reward them, right? If the world rewards people for being selfish, then people are going to be selfish. If the world rewards people for being horrible to one another, then people are going to be horrible to one another. Like they do what works. So because we are in a realm where everything is upside down, we are being rewarded for being horrible, and that makes us become more and more horrible. When we were young, we used to feel something, bro. Like we used to feel connected. We used, because we were naive. We didn't know where we were. But now you're like, damn. Like it's hard to trust other people. It's hard to connect with other people. That's why when some spiritual teachers say, "Hey, Earth is a school. Earth is this and that," I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Like, why do you even believe that? It's not a school. There's People are not learning. They're not becoming better. All right, people are bitter. People are not becoming better. They're becoming bitter. People in their 40s, in their 50s, six, bro. People are bitter and miserable because of what they've been through. Like they still haven't healed from what they've been through. I mean, healing would be us experiencing the opposite of what caused us pain, but we never get to experience the opposite of what caused us pain. It's like as you get older, you experience things that make you feel more and more pain. It even gets to a point where you get used to it. It's like being in prison. Your first day in prison, like that's gonna suck, right? Because you're not used to that kind of environment. But after a year in prison, you get, that's home. So people have gotten used to, like, their bad experiences, that they're good. Like it's home. It's what they know, right? Like when things go too well, they're surprised. Like, what's going on? Is this a setup? Like they're not even used to like a higher quality life. Like they're not even used to higher quality life. They're used to having horrible experiences. They don't even know how to respond when things go too well. They can't believe it. Like, damn, what's going on here? Because I'm not used to things happening my way. I'm not used to things actually making sense. I'm used to the confusion. So we can't even say this is a school. It's not a school. We're not learning anything. You know, all the things that I know, all the things that I understand these things because I was doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing to survive, right? Like I'm actually learning by being more of what I am than what the world wants me to be. Like I'm not learning what the world is trying to teach me. I'm actually figuring out what makes the most sense. It's almost as if the world is trying to brainwash me and turn me into what it wants me to be, but what it wants me to be is something very horrible. So I'm actually learning to unlove the world, right? I'm not learning to love the world. I'm not learning how to have good relationships with people because the world hasn't put me in a situation where I can have great relationship, and it doesn't put people in those kind of situations. We're not learning how to have good relationships with one another. We're actually learning to be alone, be by ourselves. So we are learning to unlove one another. That's what we're learning. We're learning to disconnect with one another. How can I be alone and still be able to cope? We're no longer excited about this, about existence. People are not excited. You're not excited about waking up. When you go to sleep, you wanna you wanna sleep forever. You don't wanna wake up in the morning. Be honest. You when you go to sleep, do you feel like, yeah, I gotta wake up. I'm excited about tomorrow. This is making us horrible, man. Like this experience, what we're going through. That's why I don't believe that we are in a good world. I do fully understand why we would like to think that we're in a good world, we're in a good realm, but when you look at everything as honestly as you can, you're like, nah. And I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm being honest. The problem is that since we're little, we've been conditioned to believe that we're having a positive experience. Like since we're little, they've been conditioning us to think that we are having a positive experience. Even though it doesn't make sense to believe that, but because that we've been conditioned to think that way, then that's how we think. Like, yeah, I'm having a positive experience. I'm having a positive experience, but are we? Are we really having a positive experience? Are we fulfilled? Are we happy? Uh, when we wake up in the morning, are we excited about what's gonna happen? Are we are we energized? Are we having fun? Are we learning something valuable? Because what we're actually learning, if you really think about it, it's how to survive in this mess. That's all. How to survive in this mess. It's like if your country got invaded by another country and you had to learn how to use weapons, had to learn how to live in the wild and all that. Does that do something good for your like consciousness? Do you become more conscious because of that, or you just trying to survive? Because you find yourself doing horrible things to survive, and of course that doesn't make you better. Like waking up in the morning and going to work a job that you hate, that doesn't make you better. That doesn't make you uh, more conscious. That does like it does something negative. That it doesn't make you feel the way that you want to feel. So really, what are we doing in this place? And why ain't there enough people who are asking themselves what they're doing? Because that's really the most important question. If you kidnap people and put them in a place, they don't know why they're there, they will be asking that question. Why are we here? They're not going to just pretend as if everything is okay. So why ain't we asking questions? Have we given up on like knowing what this is all about? It seems like some people have given up. Some people think that it's a bad thing to actually ask questions, but it's the right thing to do. You gotta ask questions. If you're asking questions, trust me, that's the right thing to do. Even if the people around you make you think that you're crazy, I think that's just how the Matrix gets light people. It's like how do you make people who are doing what they need to be doing in a prison planet? How do you make these people stop doing what they need to be doing? Maybe you should make them feel bad for doing what they're doing. You should make them feel like it's wrong to do what they're doing. You should not reward them for doing what they're doing if it's the right thing to do. If it's what's gonna, make them evolve. Because we can't go on like this as a collective. This is not working. This is low quality life. It's not it. Yes, we exist, but it doesn't mean that the experience that we're having is a high quality experience. It's not a beautiful experience. If you never came into this place and someone like me who's truly honest explained to you what really goes on here, you would look at this place the same way that people who are religious look at hell, right? They will actually be able to control you by telling you that, hey, if you misbehave, we're gonna send you to earth. Like they will be able to control you. Like, yo, you wanna go to earth? Because happening is horrible. We're just used to this mess. We're used to our own mess. We're used to all the bad things that are going on in our lives. That's the thing. But this sucks so bad, like for life that we don't even understand, right? Like if at least we understood what this is, maybe the experience will be better, but we have no idea what this is. And it seems like there is something that doesn't want us to know what this is. We're told that, hey, you should just create your own meaning, give life your own meaning. Like, what if it's too damn meaningless? What if it really doesn't make sense? That you can't even give it meaning. Like if you're really being honest, because some people are really experiencing nonsense and they're not doing anything to experience this nonsense. They're just experiencing nonsense. I find that it's nonsense, bro. Like you try to do things right, but you're still experiencing nonsense. Some people are doing everything wrong, but they're not experiencing nonsense. It's crazy. Like it's all upside down. You find that there are people they don't care about anything. They don't care about anyone, but things are working out for them. They don't even have to try hard. You're trying so hard. You are doing things that make a lot of sense, but you're still experiencing nonsense. Life is still giving you nonsense, and people want to pretend that it depends on how you live your life, how you treat people. No, it doesn't depend on that. So what is this? Why is it bad? Why is it difficult? Does it have to be? I know that people who believe that it has to be difficult. But let me tell you something about humans. Humans are very creative. If this was good, it was not difficult at all. You know what we'll do? We'll create games that we'll play and it'll be fun. Just like kids. Kids don't have problems, but they want to feel all kinds of emotions. Sometimes they want to feel fear. Sometimes they want to feel the tension. So they create games and they play these games. And it's fun. It's fun because they know at the back of their minds that okay, we're just playing. This is not that serious. So because this feels like base reality, right? Like this feels like base reality. Uh, it's torture when we are suffering. When we find ourselves struggling and all that. So all the pain, struggles, that's completely unnecessary. We don't need to go through pain to enjoy ourselves. We just create games that we'll just play and we'll feel all the emotions that we would like to feel. Now the truth is that this just sucks. It's it's not good. And the people who are really honest, these are the people who are saying that. It's not like the people who are saying this sucks are people who are suffering more than others. Because I think that's one of the misconceptions. Like people think that if you're honest about what is actually going on, it means you're suffering worse than others. Like no, no, no. I'm just more honest. Like the difference between me and other people is that I'm honest. Like life sucks for everyone. It doesn't just suck for the people who are honest, who are saying this sucks. It sucks for everyone. If you are conscious and you're here, it sucks. You know, if you got to see what other people are going through, even the people who are not even saying anything, you'll be surprised. Even the people who think they are strong because they have what they call a positive mindset, you'll be surprised what they're actually going through. Some of these people are going through things that are much worse than things that you've been going through in your own life. They're just not honest, or they just believe what other people are telling them about this place. They know what they think about this place, but they're like, I shouldn't trust myself because they weren't taught to trust themselves. I should trust the people who are telling me that we're having a positive experience because uh, it means they figured out how to live life right. Like that's what we tell ourselves. Why are they thinking that we're having a positive experience? And most people who are saying that they're having a positive experience are lying. There have been so many people who used to pretend as if they're having a positive experience until they were too damn tired that they came out and they were honest. Like, no, this ain't a positive experience. There have been celebrities who used to pretend as if things are working out in their lives. You know, laugh all the time, smile all the time, saying life is great until they got too tired and they spoke the truth and said, hey, things have been horrible. Things haven't been well in my life for a very long time. So we're lying to ourselves. As a collective, we're actually lying to ourselves about our experience. I don't think people are enjoying their lives, and that is what's making us uh, more and more horrible. That's what's making it hard for us to connect, like for humanity to connect, in a real way, in a way that will actually heal us, because we need each other as people. That's the truth. But we're not connecting in ways that heal us. We're connecting in ways that make us want to distance ourselves, in ways that make us feel like we should be alone. You see, this ain't this ain't working, guys. This If you feel like your life sucks, know that it's not just your life. Like people are going through a lot in this place. It's just not cool to say that you're going through a lot. I mean, it's cool to talk about maybe how you've been mistreated by someone. That's cool now. That's why people are talking a lot about that. But to just talk about life itself, life being bad, like that's not cool. So that's why people are not talking about that, and they pretending as if life is actually working for them, even if it's not. It's just not cool. Like there's nothing that you gain from being that honest, because the matrix itself doesn't want us to be that honest. You know, we're not being encouraged to be that honest. Like we can be a bit honest, so that it will seem like honesty is allowed, but if you're gonna be like too damn honest, you're gonna see that people ain't gonna respond positively to your honesty. So you just have to learn to lie better in order to live better. It's crazy. But yeah, this isn't the kind of experience that I would wanna have again. Like I would choose non-existence any day. And I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about non-existence. Um, some people might ask, yeah, why do you keep on fighting then? Why do you keep on going if that's how you feel? Because I'm trying to learn as much as possible so that whatever is next, I'll be ready for it. And that's why I keep on telling people who feel like they wanna, exit on their own that, it's best to, keep on going. Try to learn as much as possible. Try to make your soul stronger, your consciousness. Like try to learn the right things. Try to unlearn the nonsense that this world have been teaching you. Right? Try to learn what will actually make you stronger, so that you'll be in the right state to face whatever is next. Because if this was a battle, it's very much possible that what's next is going to be a battle too. Because this is a battle. You see it's a battle. So to think that what's next is going to be something easy doesn't make a lot of sense. It's most likely that what's next is going to be another battle. So we need to be as ready as possible. That is why I was, on one of the videos that I published recently, I said that we need to learn to get rid of our fears, our irrational fears. Why? So that we are no longer suffering because of our fears, right? Like us being afraid also contribute to our suffering. But if we become less afraid, we will be ready for whatever is next, because fear is being used to control us in this realm. Fear is being used to control us even in our dreams. So obviously, even in the next realm, fear is what's going to be used. So we need to, learn to be brave, learn to be as honest as possible, even if um, we are being tortured for being honest, even if we are being tortured for being real. It's obvious that this is not good, man. So yeah, I wouldn't want to come back. Like I would choose non-existence. Like if you want to see fear in my eyes, talk about us being eternal. Talk about quantum immortality. Talk about reincarnation. You'll see fear in my eyes, because this like this was not working. So why would I want this to continue? Why would I want to be conscious in another realm? And when I say this was not working, I'm not saying my life was worse than any other person's. No, I'm saying for someone who's operating at my level of honesty, this they just won't really like enjoy this. Trust me, it has, like, if you really want to enjoy yourself, you kind of you have to learn to lie to yourself, right? Or you must not be conscious enough to see things as they are. You gotta be like a child. There's a reason why children are, happy. Is because they don't know what really goes on. But once you know that this is what's going on here, like, it's not gonna be easy for you to be happy. It's not gonna be easy for you to enjoy this. So that is why a lot of people who are actually intelligent are not happy. How many people do you know who are really intelligent who are happy? unless they're extremely likely, because some people are extremely lucky, can find that, yeah, things are going so well for you that you're not traumatized, you don't have demons that you're battling. But when things are going bad for you, you got a lot of demons that you'll be battling. But a lot of people who are intelligent, they find themselves battling a lot of demons more than like people who are not very intelligent. And that's because the matrix itself doesn't want you to be that intelligent. It wants you to be operating at a certain level of like consciousness where it can like use you the way that it wants to use you. So if you're really, really intelligent, you're a threat somehow. Final destination: morality is subjective. Um, Here's the thing: there is subjective morality, but it doesn't mean that morality is always subjective. I will explain to you. I want to explain this to you in ways that will like really, really make sense. Um, the universe doesn't care about right and wrong, right? It's us humans who actually care about right and wrong. So that's why we put labels to things. We say, okay, this is right, this is wrong. Even the things that are not wrong to everyone will be like, oh, this is wrong, right? So that's why it feels like morality is subjective. Is because people are putting labels to things. People are deciding what's right and what's wrong based on how they feel, like based on their level of selfishness. Like if I'm selfish, what's gonna be right and what's gonna be wrong is gonna be based on what I feel is right and what I feel is wrong. I'm not gonna be looking at other people like, okay, this person feels like this is not wrong, or this person feels like cursing is not wrong. I feel like cursing is wrong, so I'm gonna uh, and I have some power, so I'm gonna prevent everyone from cursing. No, no one should be able to curse, right? Like that's why it feels like morality is subjective, but there is real morality, right? Like real morality. Um, as humans, there are things. Even if you are recycled, there are things that we ourselves don't want to go through. We don't want other people to put us through these things. And we know that there are no humans who want to be put through these things. Like, for an example, you don't want someone to force you to do something that you don't want to do just because they have power, or you don't want something done to you without your consent, right? You wanna you wanna give consent. So of course we agree as a collective that doing something to someone without their consent is wrong. We agree. Like as a collective, we have agreed. So we can say doing something to someone without their consent is morally wrong. That's objective morality. Like that's real morality. So morality itself cannot really be subjective. It's objective. It's just that some people, they're so narrow-minded that I don't know, they think it's about them. Like the whole experience is about them. They're the ones who should decide what's right and what's wrong. And they end up making a lot of people suffer because of that. It's like if I believe that the person shouldn't be gay, I'm gonna make gay people suffer without really understanding them, without really understanding where they're coming from, why they think the way that they think. So they suffer because of me, because I've decided that it is wrong for them to be the way that they are. Peaks and valleys. Yes, absolute is without split, but the appearances of splits. What do you mean? I would like you to elaborate more on that. Oh, you're gonna elaborate more when we do a live again. Electric cycle of magic. We all are in a relative point of view, all right? Unless you claim to be living someone else's life. Yes, but let's not pretend as if a person cannot be more right than another person, right? There are people who are operating at a level of consciousness that's so low that they are wrong about almost everything. There are people who are operating at a level of consciousness so high that they are right about almost everything. So you might find that they are right about a lot of things that you're wrong about, and you are still learning, you know, and you'd actually realize at some point that they were right all along. Okay, and okay, this is a great comment. Actually, I need to respond to this. Okay, in Dauphine, surprise birthday party without consent, but still good. Okay, um, there's a difference between something that even like but okay, I'll even like I'm going to use this example of a birthday party. Do you know that there are things that we prefer, like we have agreed as collective that we prefer these things, right? We prefer I prefer to have like for people to come to my birthday or maybe organize like a secret birthday party and not tell me until until like they reveal it to me. We have agreed as a collective that that is good, but there are situations where that can happen, and if a person is not happy about the whole thing, they wouldn't be wrong and will agree that they're not wrong, right? Let me give you another example. Let's say you try to propose to your girl like in public. She wasn't expecting that. We know that most women would like that if they are in love with you as a guy, but your woman's like, no, I don't want that. Why do you propose to me in public? We will agree as a collective that that was wrong because it happened without a cause. Like she didn't want that to happen. So if they held like a surprise party for you and you didn't like it, no one will blame you because it was done without your consent. It's just that as a collective, we assume that everyone is going to like that. I want you to understand that. So it doesn't mean that that is good. It means that we have agreed as a collective that most of us love that. You understand? So it doesn't mean that doing something to someone without their consent is good. It's never good, but there are things that we have agreed as a collective that most of us would like. So that is why it seems good. But it's not good. There's nothing that you can do to someone without their consent that is actually good. But you because the thing is you never know how they're gonna respond. It's just that there are things that are much worse than others. There are things that, as you know, that maybe less than 10% of people hate. So if you do these things to people without their consent, if you know that most of them, like most of us hate these things, like it's much easier for people to see that okay, that was wrong, right? Kevin Logan, hey Benedictine, we live in a twin universe as shown by French physicist Jean Pierre Petit. This universe has been copied by a, a cosmic AI. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of people have been saying that this is a copy of like the real world. Like it's a copy. So no, that does make sense. I mean, the Gnostics have been saying that too. That is a copy. So it does make sense why it's actually upside down. SOA. Indeed. Wait, what's that comment? Okay. Indeed, when it was said to them, there is no God except Allah, they will act arrogantly. Quran 37. Uh, okay. If I lie to people and say that I'm communicating with God, like the real creator, and some of them believe me. I will tell them that some people won't believe you. Some people will be arrogant when you tell them. Some people won't even want to listen to you. Some people will say that you're stupid because, well, I'm making it all up. So I know that some people are going to realize that I'm making it all up. So the Quran didn't really predict anything. It's just the person who wrote, you know, who wrote that actually knew how humans operate. There's nothing profound about that at all. Electric cycle of magic, we chose it. You need to back up that claim. We chose. Oh yeah, someone must have said that we chose this. Adonal says, I don't give a damn about moral. That's why I'm happy. Are you happy? Peaks and valleys, yes, there isn't. But if you are stuck in an illusion that you will reincarnate, it will appear to you that way. Reincarnation does not exist. Yeah, even if it doesn't, but don't you think that it's possible to find yourself in a world that's similar to this? Like you don't necessarily reincarnate, but you still find yourself in a place similar to, like when you dream. Like when you dream, you find yourself in a place that seems to be similar to this. So it's not reincarnation, but it's still similar to this. Um, if you watch the last Matrix movie, I like what Agent Smith, like before he realized it was Agent Smith, said to Neo. He's like, "Ain't I, are we not the same people with different faces playing different roles, stuff like that?" Like I thought that was interesting because even in our dreams, like you kind of like meet the same people, but they play different roles. Sometimes they have different faces. So you might find that reincarnation isn't you coming back to this world, but you go to a world that's very similar to this, where people have different roles and they have different faces, you know. But the experiences are kind of like the same. And though fine, if you got rich and famous, you still wouldn't have to. Yeah, I wouldn't. Like if I got rich and famous before turning 24, yeah, I would have had kids because I wouldn't have been able to reach this level of understanding. But now that I understand what I understand, no, I wouldn't. No matter how well things will go for me, I wouldn't. Zeus, Jesus saved me from an active coke stroke at 25. I'm 32 now. What makes you so sure that it was Jesus who saved you? Because if I pray to a tree while I'm sick and then, you know, I start to feel better, I might think that is the tree that actually saved me, even if it's not the tree. So I would like to know why you think it's Jesus who actually saved you. Do you think the icons are real? Maybe not at an absolute level, but I think, here's how I'm gonna put it. I think icons are real the same way that when you experience traumatic, like if you have like trauma, right? And you go to sleep and those traumas manifest into something that seems physical that you end up dealing with in your dreams. I think that's how the icons actually exist, right? I think they're more like projections of our own subconscious in a way. So they do exist in that sense. And that will explain why some people see things that other people do not see, And people say, "Hey, I've seen a ghost. I've seen," but you never get to see ghosts. You never get to see anything, remotely close to that. But some people do see these things. I think it's just projections of our own subconscious. Some of these things seem real, so that we kind of like fight these things in that way because we've made them to be real on a subconscious level. So like maybe we can't deal with these things on a subconscious level, so they have to manifest in the real world. So yeah, that's how I'll put it. But yeah, so I would say at an absolute level, no, but yeah, on a relative level, yeah. Kevin Logan, my research on this AI led me to the God Marduk Zeus Yahweh, which is self-sufficient robotic intelligence that this AI rebelled against reality and lives off suffering of souls. No, that's what makes sense. That's what makes sense. But um, I would say it is doing what it was programmed to do, but it's just doing it too well, right? Like it didn't really rebel. It just wanted, like it was created to deceive us, like to deceive consciousness, to make consciousness not realize what it actually is. So it's doing its job too well that we really forgot what we are. We're totally confused by the whole experience. Yellen, there's nothing to save. We've always been safe, even if it appears otherwise. Why do you think that? That would be interesting. Like, it would be interesting if you told me why you think that. Get busy living. Jesus saved me and has done countless miracles and all that. Yeah, everyone says that. Every Christian says that, but until they change their religion or they become atheists, they will tell you the real truth. It's just cool to say as a Christian, right, that Jesus saved you or Jesus loves you. I remember the other day I was coming from um gym, and there was this lady that was standing in the street holding a Bible, and she was like, uh "Mtwana wam, like Jesus loves you." I was like, I just looked at her and I didn't say anything. And she just continued to say Jesus loves you. I was like, what am I even supposed to say? Like, it sounds good to say that Jesus loves a person, but or Jesus saved you, Jesus healed you, but that doesn't make it true. It just sounds good to say. If that humans can give their lives for a bullshit concept written by an obscure philosopher, dying for God is more pre- prestigious and comfortable. That's why the religious war always existed. Yeah. We've always been safe. Only if you are vigilant. You mean spiritually? The reason we are safe is because we are perfect, eternal, conscious spirits who dreamt up this nightmare for the lols. You think we dreamt up this nightmare conscious? Like, that's what we chose, like consciously. Like, this is it. This is the nightmare that we want. Like, consciously. Like, it's going right. Like, everything is going right. Everything is going according to plan. Nothing safe about crossing a road teeming with traffic. That's scary, actually. Yahweh is Enlil from the Anunnaki, so everyone is unknowingly praying to a fallen angel. Enlil is the one who's supposedly like created humanity, or is it Enki who created humanity? Because I'll say the one that created humanity is the one who's wrong, right? Not the one who was against humanity, not the one who felt like humans were noisy and they suck. And yeah, that's the one who was not wrong when you look at it. You might say, oh, the one who created humanity because he loves humanity, he's the one who's actually right. But you can see what is happening in this world is actually nonsense. So he was wrong. So the one who was like, no, 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 don't create humanity because humans, they're naive, they suck, they're noisy. That's the one who's right. We all consciously design this survival horror because we all get something out of it at the end, namely eternity becomes fresh again. Um, we don't need this to appreciate eternity. We could keep on making ourselves like if consciousness is capable of anything, it can keep on making itself forget that it's eternal, but not necessarily having to create a horror, right? It's like what you're saying is like believing that you must have a bad relationship first before having a good relationship, or if you have a good relationship, you must lose that person and then have a bad relationship with someone else so that you appreciate a good relationship. Like, no, this is horror. It's not good. Enki Enlil is the one who hates humanity. Oh, cool. Yeah, so Enlil is the one who is actually right, not Enki. Because looking at what we've become, it actually makes sense why he didn't want humanity to be. Because I don't think he wanted humanity to be created, and he just wanted to hate it. Like he didn't even want humanity to be created. So maybe he was right. Maybe he was misunderstood. Because we really do suck. Are you gonna look at humanity and be like, "Yo, Enki was right"? Like we're a mess. And if really the Anunnakis created us, they're not. Why are they not even helping us? You know, because we can see that we're struggling as a collective right now. Why are they not helping us? Why are they not guiding us? Why are they hiding from us? Remember, if you yeah, if you have read or maybe knows something about the Anunnaki, like we're created to be slaves, right? It's not like we're created because we were supposed to be, to be happy. No, we're created to be slaves. So the one who decided that, okay, now that we're done with these things, let's make sure that they don't continue because they will just spread out, and they're gonna mess everything up. So that's the one who was actually right, because why did we have to continue if we have been created to be slaves? It will mean that we'll be slaves our whole life. That's why we're slaves now. That's why we obey those who are more powerful than us. You see, because that's how we've been programmed. So Enki was the bad guy, Enlil was the good guy. Zeus, I resonated with antinatalism though. It's logical thinking. Yeah, if you don't resonate with it, I don't know. Like it doesn't make sense. Like it's truth. Final destiny. If even so-called winners lost at the end. Yeah, we all do lose, man. We wanted to know what it's like to truly believe we were created by atom. Why would we want to know what it's like? They will be like going to the Christian vision of hell because we want to know what it's like to burn. Like it doesn't make sense. Why so serious? I'd rather be in the fictional universe than live uh, this shit all over again. Yeah, you'd rather be like what's the name of that guy in the Matrix who wanted to live in the Matrix because the real world sucks. Like I don't want to live in Zion. The food sucks. You know, there are no women there. Everything just sucks. Like we're busy trying to fight the Matrix, but we're not winning, yeah, against the machines. So I'd rather live in the Matrix. The style of life is about experiencing everything and gather knowledge for the next step. That's what it should be about. It's not what it's about, but that's what it should be about. And that's what I'm saying. That is my advice for everyone, that try to learn as much as you can learn while you are still here. La Raiders 264. Have you seen the video of Credo Muto talking about the Chitauri reptilians? Yeah, I have, and it's interesting. It's interesting because uh, he seemed to describe what people in other cultures were describing. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think I've also watched a video where he say he was kidnapped by some of these reptilians. I don't know if he's telling the truth. Never know anything for sure in this realm, but I would say it's interesting. It's very very interesting. A dolphin. Think you should adopt a child that is already here. Yeah, that's what makes a lot of sense. Like, if I ever find myself making real money, I'll adopt a lot of children. Like that. That will be good. That will be good. It does something to you actually, like helping another person, right? It does something to you, like it heals you somehow. So if you are hurt because of how you grew up, because you weren't shown love, sometimes showing love to someone who's young, who needs the love that you needed, that can heal you. So that will be good. I agree with you 100%. Like it's 100% good to adopt if you can take care of your adopted child, because that matters too. Get busy living. When you become a narcissist, your soul leaves you and you become a mess. Uh, suit inhabited by demons and Satan. I want to say something about narcissism. Um, it seems like we are starting to call one another narcissists. Have you realized that? You find that if you don't really understand someone, you call them a narcissist, and they call you a narcissist, or you're in a relationship with someone and it didn't work, you call them a narcissist, or they call you a narcissist. It seems like everyone is a narcissist now. Maybe that's why we call each other narcissists. Maybe we're all narcissists because of how we have experienced life. And that's why I'm telling you that life is not making us um, better. It's making us bitter. It's making us worse than we were. Like when we were little, we used to be so full of life. We used to be so damn excited about this experience. But now everyone is scared. Everyone is trying to protect themselves. Everyone is trying to get what they can get from others while giving less, because of what they've been through. Like life is making us more and more horrible. So who's really to blame? Right. Thanks for the super thanks. Evan Astral projected. Do you want to? Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, I would like to astral project, but I've never astral projected before. Um, but I do believe that I almost had a near death experience, or I almost died. No, this happened to me like twice, last year and this year. I just decided to stay. I feel like I made a conscious decision to stay. Um, I felt like I was about to leave my body for real, but I made a decision. I was like, there's still so much to learn. Like, not like I gotta be 100% ready. Mm, George D. Webb, let's connect. That's important. Maybe people who are operating at this level of understanding should connect. Maybe that's better. Ceram Ceramics. There's no way I pronounce that name right. That's why I'm single my whole life. Yeah. But that shows you how bad things are, right? Like in a world where you see people everywhere you go, you're like, nope, I'd rather be single because people suck, you know. The reality artist Agent Smith said it sucks. No, Agent Smith was right. Like when we were growing up, we used to think that Agent Smith was the bad guy in the Matrix, but he was actually right. Like he was actually right. Like when you listen to like these conversations with Neo, the Oracle, Morpheus, you're like dang, like he was so damn right. Like sometimes I just search on YouTube, like I just search like his conversation, like what do you see this, like his scenes where he's just talking, because he's so damn right. Get busy living. Neo in the Matrix represented Jesus in spiritual awakening. Neo seemed a bit naive though. He seemed a bit naive. And his awakening, like he didn't really awaken on his own, like when you think about it, like he had a lot of help, and he was just it's kind of like he was forced to awaken, and he awakened because of the people who convinced him that he was not he was living in a matrix, and you know what I mean, like Agent Smith. Yeah, that's the guy that should remind you of Jesus. I mean, maybe Neo should remind you of Jesus because it's not like he he was that rebellious. It's not like he rebelled against this realm like that. So yeah, but Agent Smith was right. This is the thing. Like Agent Smith was right. Like if there's someone that you must learn from in the Matrix, is Agent Smith, because he didn't have any help. Like he awakened on his own. He just awakened and became free and became a threat to his creator. Right? He was created by the machines, but he became a threat to the machines. He was able to operate outside of his programming. So there's the guy that you should look up to, not Neo. Neo was just listening to Morpheus, the Oracle, and Trinity. Solly Slim, sex is overrated. Men awake, turn it up to 10. Read this. If the reptilians exist as physical beings, how does that affect the prison planet theory? That will just solidify the whole thing. Maybe if they existed, they will be able to wipe off our memories. Like if you like the Men in Black thing, like maybe they'll have these gadgets that they'll use on us to make us forget that we saw them transform into reptilians. But yeah, the best way to control humans because humans are much smarter than animals, is to kind of like hide from them in plain sight, I guess. Just hide from them, live among them, date them. You might find that you've dated a reptilian before. Then that would be crazy. Find that some of the people that you work for are reptilians, but you don't know. But yeah, that's the thing about this world. Like nothing is like really, really obvious. You know. Cold cause. Okay, I'm Ari here. I can't stand intellectual, dishonesty Christians. See you later, Benedict. There are no Christians here. Are they Christians? Final destination. Indeed, sex is overrated. Remember, post night clarity. DJ on. Bro, I remember a while back I asked you to watch Credo Motor. Shout out for watching him. No, I've always known, like I've known him for a while. Yeah. What do you think of star seeds? People claiming to have reincarnated from other planets or planets, aka humans with alien souls. Um, it feels good to, and thanks for the super thanks. No, it feels good to believe that, right? It feels good to believe that you were sent from another. Like if you've watched like Superman, for an example, like Superman comes from another planet and he saves people on Earth. So like you want to feel like that. You want to feel like you're some kind of like a superhero, right? So it feels good to believe that you were sent from another planet to save. Is it possible? Maybe, but also know that it feels good to believe that, right? It feels good to believe that you were chosen. You know, so I wouldn't cling to that idea a lot because I think it's just strokes people's egos. Get busy living, like Jesus said, family is your worst enemy. Um, when did Jesus say that? Final destination: women lives are easy due to our lust. Is it lust? I think men need, like we've been programmed to also. It's not just about lust. Like it's not just about sex. Like men also need validation from women. So it's not just about sex. It just seems like men and women just need each other, right? Men and women just need each other. My criteria for solution to the great mystery are pure simplicity, fearlessness, and good news for all living spirits. Yeah, fearlessness, simplicity, agree. Next, love. What if the goal of the matrix is to find the people that never gives up and going through hell smiling? Um, Here's the thing: we don't even have free will, right? So if a person never gives up, it's not really because they're strong or anything. Like it's just things just keep on happening in ways that make them not give up. If things happen a bit differently, they will give up. We're not, fighting because we're just stronger than those who fail to keep on fighting. It's the smallest things that keep us fighting. The reality as his life here will always be difficult because of the demiurge. Yep. If you don't believe who created the demiurge, then that gives the demiurge power over you. Yes. Budbalo. In the movie The Matrix, everything is perfect: food, job, people, and they don't realize that this is fake. In this Matrix, everything is bad. How people don't realize that this is how? Um, People are realizing that. Just that I don't know. Those who are not realizing that, I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, just trust yourself. You know, as a conscious being, trust yourself. You might just be dealing with non-player characters. That's why not everyone is realizing what is actually going on. Thanks for another super thanks. Right. Thoughts on demon face syndrome. Now that's interesting. I think I watched some videos on TikTok of some people who say they have this, like they see when they see some faces, these faces turn into demons, and they call it. One thing that I've realized is that if maybe you have this special ability that can expose the matrix, they're gonna make it seem like a mental illness. I'm not saying demon face syndrome is not an illness. I don't know, but of course that will be the best way to like confuse people. Maybe you reach a level of consciousness where you see everything as they are, and some of these people that you interact with are demons, and you can see that they're demons. They'll just say, "Hey, you have a mental illness, and you need treatment," even if that isn't the case. So we should always keep an open mind. We should always keep an open mind. Imagine making someone immortal without their consent. Damn. Imagine. I couldn't imagine being stuck here forever. I feel like a lot of ignorant people would love immortality. True. Yeah, man. Because existence itself is a burden, right? Everything that's possible, so everything that you see, everything that you hate happens because you exist. So that's why that's why antinatalism truly makes sense, right? Existence itself is a burden, man. Where do they get the good thing that makes your transition? What are you talking about? Zeus, Christianity is work. I'm going into politics to form a new religion. Dictator. I have no choice. Jesus told me to do it. Christianity has nothing to do with Jesus. What I believe we are experiencing is consistent with purgatory in hell. Our prayers will not be heard, let alone answers, but our prayers are still heard in purgatory. Um, I just hope we don't find ourselves in places like that. So we don't find ourselves in purgatory or hell. Final destination, pets are emotional support, another coping mechanism. Yeah. And sometimes we don't treat them the way that they want to be treated. Sometimes we imprison them. I know people who have dogs, they don't take these dogs out. You find that this dog wants to go out. It doesn't want to stay in one place, but it's stuck in one place. Like some people don't know how to treat their pets. Dogs love walking. I don't know if there's an animal that actually loves walking more than the dog. Like they want you to walk, like to go with them to the park. Like they'll be very very happy if that happens. But some people just keep their pets at home all the time. So y- that that turns them into prisoners, and we don't even realize that. Our opinions on pets escaping the soul trap. Um, never really thought of that. Yeah, that animals seem less conscious than humans, so it seems like it would be much harder for them to escape the soul trap because they don't understand a lot of things that we understand. Truth is, say pets are NPCs, they can't really escape. I mean, I've seen dogs that just seem very conscious. You know, you can even see in their faces that they are aware of what's going on. They can't speak, but they are aware of what's going on. I think some animals are like really conscious, man. The greatest magician novels has memorably written will be the one who will cast over himself a spell so complete that he will take his own uh, phantasmagories as autonomous appearances. Mm-mm. No, that's deep. Would not this be our case? Um, no, it's really possible. It's really like really possible. This reminds me of this quote. Can God create a rock that he cannot lift? If he cannot create a rock that he cannot lift, that means he's not omnipotent. If he can create a rock that he can't lift, it also means that he's not. So yeah, consciousness should be able to deceive itself, I guess. Slim, most people can't think outside of their programming. Yeah, it's almost impossible for most people to think outside their programming. See, it can't be right that animals are going to get soul trapped again just because they don't have higher cognition. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if animals were judged the same way that we are told we are judged in the end. Like that actually proves that these religions are wrong on so many levels because we're just like animals, just more conscious, but really we're just like them. We are controlled by um, the same motives that they have, the same desires that they have. Right, there are definitely some intelligent non-human animals, not all, but some will evolve and reincarnate into human avatars at some point. Got it the easy way. Suffering is part of perception, meaning you have control. While outside forces can cause pain, they can't control how you choose to perceive it. Okay. I've had this so many times. Guys, let's keep on liking the lives. Let's keep on liking the live. I think we are on 74 likes. Let's keep on liking the live. Okay. So you're saying that it all boils down to perspective, right? It all boils down to perspective, meaning that I do have like the choice to choose how I perceive something. I think that's what keeps people at a very low state of consciousness. Because if something happens and I tell myself that I choose to perceive it in a way that doesn't hurt me, it's very much possible that I'll have to lie to myself in so many different ways. It's like if you're a religious person, something really bad happens, but you're told that God knows what He's doing, and you just believe that. You might never really evolve because you're choosing to not see things as they really are because you're trying to avoid suffering. So it's actually better to see things as they are, even if you feel pain. You're right. You do have the power to believe anything. You really do have that kind of power. If you want to brainwash yourself and actually believe things that are not real, things that don't make sense, you can. But that doesn't mean that you are right. That doesn't mean that there is no higher truth. You can be stuck at a very low level of consciousness where you are busy deceiving yourself every day. You can even find a group of people who also deceive themselves like you, and you guys maybe form a cult, right? That's why we have cults in this world. That's why we have religions in this world. Um, that's why we have so many communities on YouTube. You see, people just bullshit themselves. So you can believe anything, but to truly evolve, you mustn't be afraid of suffering. Even though you don't want to suffer, you must be willing to suffer if it means that to evolve, you have to suffer. Like you must be willing to walk through fire, right? Brian Neo, do we need more child of all mailers? What's that? Uh, Platform delusion happens. Let people learn what's real. Even encourage them to learn simple facts and skills. Zeus, what is the tattoo philosophy? I have no tattoos. I'm too much of a great artist to trust another. DJ on NX, what is your foundation? What is your belief, or what is your perception of truth? Or do you have no belief and really no foundation? Just interested, man. Belief consciousness is fundamental, and everything is like a projection of the mind. That's I've actually spoken about it in a video that I've published recently. I think the title of the video is "There's Only One Mind, and it's your mind." Slow boredom. What is your opinion on Neville God teachings? That this is your dream. Everyone is you pushed out. That there is many possible realities and power of. No, I've watched some of his videos. The problem is that he's too positive. Like he seemed to force himself to be positive than to be more honest. Like he's right about a lot of things, but he forces himself to be positive, right? I see this a lot with many spiritual teachers. Like they force themselves to be positive. I think it's much better to walk through fire. There are things you can be positive about, there are things you can be negative about. Like we must recognize everything, right? We must recognize our suffering, not try to um, make our suffering seem small by lying to ourselves, about it. Like we need to be as honest as possible. So yeah, it's like he was trying to sell something more than anything, but he was honest. There's things that he said that were true, but it also seemed like he was trying to sell something. So he was a bit too positive. Um, Simple question: don't you see that Islam answers all your existential questions? You can answer questions by lying. You know that, Jessica. And if there's such thing as sentient beings, then who created them, and where did they come from? No, that's a good question. That's a good question. Can consciousness be created? Ask yourself that question. Can consciousness be created? That's really a good question. Um, I think it's more logical to think that if there's something that everything comes from, it has to be something that cannot be created, right? It has to be something that cannot be created. It has to be all that there is, actually. So it will make more sense to just think consciousness itself is fundamental. So everything that is sentient is just consciousness uh, having an experience. Maybe consciousness split itself like into different perspectives, but it wasn't created. So it's consciousness dreaming, basically. Like you can think that life is consciousness actually having a dream. got it easy way. If you control perception, then suffering becomes a choice. Yeah, but you can be delusional. That's the point that I'm making. That you can be delusional. You can tell yourself things that are not true in order to not suffer. Brian Neo, what do you think of David Bennett? No, David Bennett is right about antinatalism. It's just that I haven't followed his like all his work. But when it comes to antinatalism, 100%. April Neil, is it hard to be a loner in Africa? Not really. It's just like how it is in any other country, I think. Get busy living. I'm so glad certain systems is coming to an end and all these lies are becoming exposed. What lies are becoming exposed? Zeus got it the easy way, lose it the hard way. Is that what is true? If you get something easy, you lose it. What do you mean? What does that actually mean? Actually, get busy living. Come to me, all you who are weary and oh, just a quote from Matthew, the book of Matthew. Why? Why do people take these books too damn seriously? It doesn't make sense, man. I started reading Bennett's The Fall of the University of Cape Town. It seems worth reading. I'll check it out. I mean, if he was able to realize like that we live in a world like in a really really messed up world and he decided that he's not going to have children and made antinatalism cool, then yeah, maybe all his work is good. What if suffering is just an opinion and shifting perspective is the ultimate way to perceive reality, freeing you from the pain of negative perception? um what you're saying is true on some level, but not on every level, right? It's true on some level. As a human, you're supposed to have desires. If your desires ain't met, you're not supposed to feel good. Like this, how you've been programmed as a human, right? As a human, you've been programmed to suffer when things are not going your way, when you are being tortured. Like that's how you're supposed to be as a human. So but there are some situations where you just need to shift your perspective and you can feel much better. So yes, in some situations, yes, but there's real suffering that you can't just conquer by just shifting your perception. Broski channel, good day. Get busy living. Like this PDD situation, what's done in the dark will be brought to the. I mean, who's exposing PDD? You think God is exposing PDD? Like God is like, no, I'm done with P Diddy now. Like, let me just expose him. Let me show the world that P Diddy is. First of all, people who are honest with themselves, people who've been following P Diddy, already knew that he was doing some messed up things. Like I used to have conversations with a lot of people about Diddy. Even people who live in the US who are also internationalists, who are also fellow truth seekers. I'll communicate with them about hip hop, and we'll talk about P Diddy. Like we know what. Like, are you starting to realize that P Diddy was into some messed up shit now? Like you didn't realize that on your own. You needed. Uh, his home to be raided so that you realize what's how he is. Jeff Welch, a lot of our suffering is that way, but true suffering can't be ignored. Exactly. Can you have pain without pleasure or pleasure without pain? Yes. DJ ONX, if you're right about solipsism, then have you created the demiurge? Yes. Um, but not consciously, right? Not consciously. The same way that you create nightmares in your dreams, it's not like you do that consciously. That for the fear of an eternal unbearable hell will dictate anyone's behavior. Good thing that it was all written in a book. Get busy living. Life is boring without suffering. If there was no suffering, we will create games like just like we create games now. We have sports, you know, we'll create sports that will bring some sense of suffering and that will make us enjoy this existence better. Broski channel. We've been knew we knew these people do stuff like that. That is how they got their riches. Exactly. It's not like they're being exposed. Like everyone knows. Like everyone who's trying to figure out what's going on. Of course, they knew Diddy was on some messed up thing. Does God envy mortal men? What could be more boring than having ultimate power? If you had ultimate power, you'd make yourself forget that you have ultimate power, but you wouldn't torture yourself. You just forget for a while and remember and then forget for a while. But what is happening is torture. Like what sentient beings are going through in this world, it's just nonsense. Guys, I'll be back in a sec. Keep liking the live. Keep liking the live. I think we're on 78 likes, so let's keep on liking the live. Um, Maurice just is a Truman Show. Okay, we're gonna talk about the Truman Show when I come back. But it is Truman Show. Yeah, life actually does feel more like the Truman Show. right? Because we're not being told anything. Like things just happen. We don't know why these things are happening, and we can see that uh, when we try to ask the right questions, we're being discouraged. Like the same way that Truman would be discouraged. Like whenever he tried to talk about serious issues that were going on, he would be discouraged. So yeah, it is more like the Truman Show. You know, everyone who comes out and actually make people question things, like this person will be ridiculed by the system, right? Like people can say, oh, this person is right, but the system won't really like that person, right? So you can say that those who really run the world don't want us to know the truth. They don't want us to ask the right questions. God is love, the devil is hate. Yeah, well, you can tell yourself anything, honestly. Um, Mainlander has a good argument that God could not immediately forget because his own omnipotence was an obstacle. It's convincing. You're saying he can't forget something like that is God instantly. Okay, that's a good argument, but would you say that God will need a world like this? Like, you need to become a human to actually forget that it's God and suffer? Like, through suffering, you would forget that it's God. Or you can be a human but have good experiences but still don't know that it's God. When you look at the people who believe in God, it's usually people who believe that there's God and it's separate from them. It's usually people who don't really suffer that much, so they don't ask themselves real questions, you know. But if you're truly suffering, that's when you try to be like a philosopher. Like real philosophers are people who actually have suffered at some point. Like they had to think deeply about life and try to figure out what it really is. So God wouldn't need to torture himself to forget that he's God, right? DJ Onyx, the best video you've ever made. Three ways to escape the hell room. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. Get busy living. I've had two nervous breakdowns and gone through hell, but I'm at peace because of all the suffering I survived. Yeah, what if that happens again? How would you feel? Serum Max. God hates me, that's for sure. The Matrix hate those who are honest enough about what's going on. Do you believe in spiritual realm and where is our true home? I think everything is spiritual. It's a dream. Like reality itself is a projection of consciousness. Really, God loves everyone, but is angry at the wicked every day. Why would it? If he was angry at the wicked, why would he not get rid of them or change them? Like help them change in ways that are actually effective. You know, I mean, if I had God's superpowers, I would be able to change people, make them better. Do you believe in? Let's see, our home is in heaven. Broski channel. Do you see yourself escaping this place? Yes, that's that's the work. Like that's why I'm doing this. That's why I keep on working on myself, making sure that I become as conscious as possible. Because I need to be free one day. Can't be stuck in this hell thing forever, man. The Bible contradicts itself about the same events often. Yeah, 100%. When you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you have left the system. Why? Why do I gotta believe that a, a person that the system is trying to like make me believe in uh is gonna save me from it? Remember, The Bible is like the most popular book in this world. Why will the Matrix promote a book that's gonna free us? Like it gives us this book freely. When you really think about it, they just know how you think. They know how your brain works. So they give you Jesus. They give you a superhero, and you believe that this superhero is gonna save you. Golf AI, even everything is technically unprovable. Yeah, irrefutable. Free will is an illusion. Einstein in school. What is the name? Schopenhauer's words. Okay, a man can do what he wants, but cannot will what he wants. Yes. But that statement doesn't really prove that free will doesn't exist, because even if you don't will what you want, you can make the argument that you can choose to do what you do not want to do, right? So you can choose to do what you do not want to do. But I'm not saying that free will exists. It doesn't. I'm just saying that that statement doesn't it really prove that free will doesn't exist. I will destroy God for what He has done to me and my family. God must be destroyed at all costs. No, that reminds me of what someone wrote in the wall. Like they would they I think that person like was tortured like in a concentration camp, and they wrote on the wall that if God exists, He will have to beg for my forgiveness, something like that. As some people have suffered so much that that's like their right to feel that way. It makes complete sense that they feel that way. Schopenhauer's main mistake was considering the eye an illusion. Okay, mainlanders corrected this error. Okay, the eye an illusion. Maybe that's not a mistake. Tell me how mainlanders corrected that error. Gov AI. No, that could just be another force inside you that overcame another force or desire. That is not very good argument. No, I'm not saying free will exists. I'm not saying free will exists. Humans, demons are here too. Nicki Minaj and Tekashi 69 made a song about me named Trolls. Get busy living. Ego is the false reality. Spirit is the true reality. Golf AI. Read Nietzsche's work. There is not even will. We don't have even definition of will, let alone free will. I'll bet everything is technically unprovable, irrefutable, so I cannot ultimately disprove free will. No, there is no free will. You can think so, like logically enough to actually realize there is no free. There's some things that you can know for sure are true, right? There's really no free will. That I'll come back when the collective knows that we are all one. Whatever you do to them, you did to yourself. Who said that? Bobby, we are all slaves to our own existence. That's what sucks. That separate bodies, yet we share the same consciousness existence. I am you. But does believing that makes the experience better? Let's say everyone is you. Does that make it all better? I mean, most people who believe that, like who used to teach, that they isolated themselves from people. It's like if you were in a nightmare and you knew that every person that you interact with is your projection, every monster that you interact with is your projection, but they're still trying to torture you in so many different ways. Like, does it make it all better knowing that everyone is you? Telekinesis is real. Remote viewing is real. Well, we need to see people move objects with their own minds for real in front of everyone so we can know that for sure, because the things that are real that we've witnessed these things for real. People do these things for real. So with telekinesis, it seems like people do these things on their, like, when they are alone, or when they're performing magic, but when you try to figure out how they're doing it, you realize that it's not really real. Nirvana is knowing stories, own people, narratives, mazes for the mind. Do we really have free will? We don't have free will. Nietzsche is not really worth reading, and he plagiarized mainly. Jesus gave me lightning powers, so the world will have faith, and for other reasons. Go for air. Yeah, I don't know. I've always doubted that is the thing. Metaphorical language doesn't even talk about reality. Instead, it is part of a reality. It is just primitive invention used. That's why philosophy will never solve the why problem. Everyone says opposite fear is love. It is not. It is not. It is freedom. Love, romance for slaves, Hollywood. I say the opposite of fear is freedom. Let's see. When you're free, you're not afraid. So, mm, no, that's an interesting way to look at it. I've never really looked at it that way before. Because it cannot be bravery. Because if you are brave, you're still afraid, right? So you cannot say bravery is the opposite of fear. So maybe freedom. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's freedom. But love cannot be the opposite of fear. Doesn't make sense. That's like there's no relationship between love and fear really. Gaza girl says fear is love. Oh, she's asking. The other side, no such thing as angels or demons. By the I mean the individual will to live, the key to the thing in itself. You're saying that's an illusion, or you saying it's not an illusion. I've seen it in real life. The Chinese teach chai cultivation for a real reason, but you are smart to doubt without proof. There's eye at the windows to the soul. Or they say eyes are the windows to the soul. Oh, I don't think it is an illusion. You don't think the eye is an illusion? Oh, all right. Now I remember. Okay. When you are in a dream and yeah, you're dreaming that you are okay. Let's see your name, Yellen, in the dream, and you can see yourself in the mirror. Like when you stand in the mirror, you're able to see yourself. Would you say that what you see is not an illusion? Like the eye that you see in your dream is not an illusion; it's real. Gulf AI by nature criticized Schopenhauer's own thing in itself. I don't remember enough from. Now, when you're in a dream, what you must realize that is that everything that you see in your dream is an illusion, right? Including what you call yourself. That's an illusion too. Including the I is an illusion. So if consciousness is fundamental, then everything that consciousness experiences, everything that consciousness calls something is an illusion. I would say the full I is for following Mary, the prophet's self ego father, and the sublation of this tree. Now you're talking about something different. I want you to tell me why you think the eye is not an illusion. Like, tell me why you think that it's not an illusion, and you think I think you said Nietzsche made a mistake by saying that the eye is not an illusion, something like that. Chew broker. Is anyone here the next Albert Einstein? 93. Let's keep on liking the lives. Let's keep on liking the life. Um, but yeah, the world that we live in is really turning us into horrible people. It's really hard to be a good person. It's really hard to uh, try to do the right thing. It gets to a point where everyone is justifying being a horrible person. You know, you're like, hey man, what can I really do? I'm just trying to survive, and that's what shows showing us that we live in a hell realm. Because if we're not living in a hell realm, it would mean that we will have been programmed to benefit by being good, and that will make us evolve, right? Like there will be evolution. We'll become better because we are being rewarded for being good. It's like if you had a child and you were punishing the child for being good, do you think the child will continue being good? Like whenever the child tries to do the right thing, you punish them. It'll get to a point where they do, the wrong thing because you're not punishing them for doing the wrong thing. So if we live in a society where doing the right thing, gets you bad results constantly, it gets to a point where you're like, man. So that's where we're at. That is why, everyone seems to be horrible. And I don't think there's going back. I don't think we can change as a collective. Like we can decide that, you know what, uh, we want things to be better. So let's all change and try to be better for one another. Like I don't think that's where we're headed. Okay, Yellen says, because I experienced the world as an individual subject. The whole point of God killing itself was to give life to individual. Okay, because I experienced the world as an individual. Yeah, but that individual subject can be an illusion because in your dream, that individual subject is an illusion, right? So if that is possible, and you think that consciousness is fundamental, then it also makes sense to think that even the I is an illusion. Okay, black hole, yo, just finished my life, bro. Awareness is not an illusion. No, awareness is not an illusion at all. Yeah, it can be an illusion, yes. Kevin late, there is no karma. Since a lot of people don't have consequences for their actions, they will continue to do whatever benefits them, even if it's self-destructive. Yeah, they. I know some people believe that there's karma, and let me tell you why some people believe there's karma. They believe there's karma because there are some people who have done horrible things in the world, and they wanted to see these people fall. So they call it karma. Like for example, Puffy. Like everyone knew that Puffy would, was onto some messed up shit. So when they see him fall, they'll be like, "Oh, that means there is karma." But how many people have gotten away with the things that Puffy is being accused of now? Just that, yeah, in this world, bad things do happen. Bad things do happen to good people. Bad things do happen to bad people. Some people do get wrongfully convicted. There are some people who have been wrongfully convicted and who died in prison. We just don't get to hear their stories. So just because there are some people who have bad experiences after doing something bad doesn't mean that karma is real, you know. Tony, people don't have stories. Stories have people. Mm, right, that's profound. Zeus, I'm the Joker, so I'm not surprised I experience laughing demons in my head. Get busy living. Ego, competition, pride, and selfishness has removed love from the world. Yeah, and we are being made to be more competitive. We're being made to be more egotistic, more selfish. So yeah, there's no going back. My basic concern is losing myself to some soap, soap, the source of such. Um, Kevin Lips, we are living in the beginning stages of collapse globally, economically, so people become more animalistic out of survival. Yeah, because they are programmed to survive. Like that, they believe that that's a positive thing. So of course, um, will do anything to survive. Yes, it's an illusion when considered in a vacuum, but it's real as a moment of the full eye. By I, are you referring to what? You're referring to awareness itself, like consciousness itself, or you are referring to something that consciousness considers to be the I? Because there's a difference. Like when you are having a dream, consciousness is having the dream, and then there is what it's dreaming to be the I. That is why what I'm saying is the illusion, right? But consciousness itself is not is not an illusion because that's awareness. Awareness cannot be an illusion. But what consciousness is aware of can be an illusion. Gov AI, you should create Discord and do separate debates with viewers to go. No, I already have a Discord. It's just that the plan was to tell you about it last month, like at the end of last month. It's just that the funeral thing, and I wasn't even uploading at the time. But there is already a Discord. What I will do is make a maybe I will introduce like my Discord on a live, maybe on the next live. We'll see so that people can join and yeah. like we're gonna do that. Like, and thanks for reminding me because I keep on forgetting. So thanks for reminding me. Team Drum, hello, deep talk again. Always interesting. No, thanks and thanks for joining the live. Gov AI Peaks and Valleys said awareness is illusion and there is interpretation of this that claims that same even observer is an illusion. No, I'll because I'm gonna do a live with him again, so we'll debate about that. Like, there's no way that awareness can be an illusion. I wish I don't know if he's still here, so he can explain that. Like, how can awareness be an illusion? How can being be an illusion? I had a room full of people in my head too. Then one person asked, "Can I smoke in here?" No, you can't smoke in my head. Demons are funny. Ocean is that bad collective choices add up over time. Yeah, just coincidence. I don't think karma is real. Nah, it's not. The individual will to live is similar to Hegel's absolute idea. Only the absolute idea is true. Everything else is false, but true insofar as they are moments of the absolute idea. Games dog. People are becoming really reckless drivers over the last year or so. I've noticed it more and more. So many people losing their temper more easily while behind the wheel and driving at crazy speeds. Yeah, people are angry, and that like you see that when they're mad, like at each other, like when they're driving and all that. Like road rage, it's like people go crazy for real. But I think it's the anger that's hidden inside. So they get angry at strangers. Some people even unalive one another because of road rage. So people fight. People can't even fight fighting in the street. It's the funniest thing ever, but it tells you something about how we feel. We don't feel good as humanity. So my reflection in a dream is a false self, but it is true in so far as a sublate in my overall movement and repose. Jessica, Beladu, they are playing dumb around us, folks. They know we know. Glad to get in the live. Thanks for joining the live. Yeah, basically by I am basically referring to awareness. No, if you're referring to awareness itself, yes, that cannot be an illusion. It can be an illusion. So yeah, you're right. That awareness is not an illusion. But in my awareness, which is disjoint from your awareness. Okay, DJ on an X. Bro, you heard about these celebs with tunnels under their houses. It's actually hard to believe kind of businesses these celebs get up to. Yeah, I think I watched a video today on TikTok about some guy talking about celebrities using tunnels to go from point A to point B. That's why you never see celebrities like like in traffic, like but I don't know. But it does seem like there are tunnels for real underground. I mean, people been talking about tunnels. People been talking about being taken underground where they were tortured in so many different ways, where rituals were performed on them in so many different ways. So it does make sense. I mean, why wouldn't there be tunnels? Why wouldn't there be tunnels? We don't even know what this thing that we're on, this rock is. So maybe they do create there are many tunnels underground that we don't know about and that we're not supposed to know about. Hicho, I love the videos, man. Thanks, and thanks for joining the live. Jessica had an NDE in 1995. There is something to the ones who recall. I was incarnated that night. Third time in that I have awareness of. Would love to discuss so much. Um, if you'd like to go live with me, we can have a conversation about that. Like that will be interesting because I've never had a conversation with someone who's had like an NDE. So yeah, it will be good to have a conversation about that. Sebastian Devon, how long is the live? Now it's like 2 hours 30 minutes. I don't know how long this live will be. Um, Tony, the sense of I belongs to consciousness as individual. We think the sense sense we are is not infinite. Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, okay, I saw the theories or interpretation that say that the same even awareness was illusion, but you cannot really prove that. So it is my best guess. I am not smart anymore to go that deep. All right, now I get you. I get you. Yes, people are looking very strange in their behaviors now. So much ego out there. What do you think is the cause? Because obviously things are becoming more and more weird. Thanks for the super thanks, Jessica Pelado. Thanks for the super thanks. Of course, there's tunnels. Yeah, like there have been people who've been talking about tunnels for a very long time, so that makes sense. Get busy living. You are a good man, Benedict, and I'm glad I found your channel. We might not agree on everything, but at least we are honest truth seekers. Thank you for your fascinating videos. God bless you, brother. No, thanks, and thanks for being on this life because you've been on this life like for a while, and yeah, we communicated a lot. So thank you, Tony. Thanks for the super thanks. Great work, great work, my friend. Grasping is suffering. Buddhism is profound. We are already complete. We are our own guru. Follow your intuition. Blessing, dude. Thanks. Black hole. I'm sorry, but the only illusion is the belief in an illusion. All right, yeah, that makes sense. DJONX, Jessica, is asking Jessica what a biggest takeaway from any. Now that's a good question actually. Zeus, incorrect. I'm the guru. I am. Um, Demons are some kind of technology and flesh. No, that makes sense. Anything outside of our souls is an illusion. Yeah. What's really strange is everyone looks like a human being. That's just the thing. Yeah, of course, we have there have to be some people who seem human, but who are not really human, and it is getting to like it's gonna get to a point where they can even create robots that look like humans, like 100% like humans. Like you won't even be able to tell the difference. So obviously, that has been happening, you know, for a while. Or Pick and Valley is still here. I don't know if he saw there's this there's someone who said, I think there's someone who said peaks and valleys say that consciousness is an illusion or something like that. So I don't know if you saw that. Benedict, I sent you the link of the video I was talking about. I cover some topics where I would disagree. For example, if consciousness is fundamental and how some questions can never be answered. No, I'll check. I'll check it. Corey, hello Benedictine brother. Thanks for joining the live. Sovereign, I agree that this is a dream or an illusion, but it's an interactive one that's hard to escape from. Yeah, that's true. DJ, we do not die ever. This is an illusion. I saw tall males, they were like exquisite statues, alive though, made of what looked like clay. It was unbelievable. That night I was having um, a car acid. Now that's scary. Like we're not dying, because that's really my worst fear. Us being eternal. I think NDEs are all customized to match your beliefs and vibrations. Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the live. Um, yeah. Let's keep on liking the live. Um, and yeah, thanks for being part of this. I think this is how we're gonna do our lives. You know, like I'm gonna be using my webcam. I'm thinking of buying like a webcam, like an external webcam. You know, like I like good I like good quality. Like quality is everything to me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna buy a webcam and we'll do our lives more regularly. I'm not sure about the audio quality because I'm also thinking about getting a mic, but uh, but this might not be bad. This might not be bad. So thank you all for joining the live. Yeah, it was a great live. At least I was not tired. So the last time I did a live, it was very short because I felt sleepy. So yeah, thank you all guys for joining the live. We'll see you guys on the next one.